Hello and welcome back to Courtside. I'm Andrew Cohen, joined alongside by Mike Randall, Sam Posman. How you guys doing today?
What's up?
Better than Mike.
Shut up, Sam.
We have a special guest this week, our good friend Lauren.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right. NBA playoffs. They're finally here. But before we get to that, we want to rewind a couple months to our NBA midseason show. Our own Mike Randall had, 7.5, 8-minute long rant about how the Lakers were going to turn it around in the second half and make a championship run, I believe, is what you said.
5-minute rant.
Right.
I believe the quote was, Russell Westbrook will do what needs to be done to figure it out.
Correct.
Is that what he said?
I think it was something along those lines.
From February.
Was there something about THT turning it around?
There was. He was going to become the role player they always
Yeah.
thought he was meant to be.
Was Anthony Davis going to come back earlier than expected too?
Yeah, and regain his desire to drive inside and not just
Wow.
wow.
Mike.
Anyway,
Mike, would you care to respond?
you can't just take this beating.
I hate you guys.
Let's
Oh
see.
my God, the Lakers.
The Los Angeles Fakers.
How can I the meme team?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, there are so many angles to go at this Lakers just dumpster fire from. Lauren, you talked about this a minute ago off the air, but you have to start with injuries. I understand Russ was a disaster. The roster was disastrous. But look, LeBron and Anthony Davis, two of the best players in the game, even with Anthony Davis not performing up quite to his standards this year and last year, are still LeBron's a top 4 or 5, and that's being generous on the low end, right? Some people consider him still to be a top 3 player. Anthony Davis, even for his haters, is within the top 15. Most people have him kind of on the back end of the top 10. They played 20 games together. In a star-driven league, when you get that few amount of games with two of the best players in the sport, you're going to struggle. You're especially going to struggle when the roster was built with old veterans, guys who can't play defense, non-shooters, basically just disastrous roster construction for how the game's supposed to be played right now. Factor into that Russell Westbrook having one of the most delusionally awful seasons I think any of us have ever seen from a superstar. It was, if you guys saw his end-of-season press conference, it was, what are you guys doing?
Nothing.
Oh, my God, I'm getting
memed
here. So the Russell Westbrook experiment was obviously a disaster. His end-of-season press conference was just straight-up delusional. He's talking about how he didn't get a fair chance, how Vogel never really liked him. It was unreal, and some people have likened it to the end of Iverson's career, where mentally and in terms of how he approached the game on the court, he never adjusted to his age and his declining skill set and goes from being what we all thought was a pretty good player. He played well at the end of the year last year in Washington, too, out of the league just like that. Now, is that likely to happen to Westbrook? Probably not. But the decline has been that steep. This was one of the most atrociously awful seasons we've ever seen from a player who came into the season considered a star or maybe in the superstar category, depending on who you ask. I think, what was the stat, Sam, you had this last week for me? I think he missed 100 more jump shots. Or no, he had 100 more turnovers than jump shots made this year. So,
it's not good basketball.
You can't perform like that and then go to the national media and say, I didn't get a fair chance. They had it out for me, right? They didn't let me be the player I needed to. No, Russ, you were awful. You're embarrassingly awful. I think Vogel is the scapegoat in all this. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think he was able to overcome the roster shortcomings, especially with his specialty being defense. Give him a roster with no defensive players, and the one defensive player he has gets hurt, you're screwed. So, you can look at it from all different kinds of angles. It was the perfect storm of injuries, underperformance from certain players, middling to poor coaching. I don't think Vogel had a great year coaching, right? Regardless of what the issues were, I don't think he's a great coach. And then just all-time bad roster construction, which I've touched on other episodes I won't get into. So, yes, I'll take all the shots right now. The Lakers deserve it. It's tough as someone who supports LeBron because it wasted a year in which he potentially could have still contended based on his own on-the-court performance. And
he
it was
really
just
good this year.
He was quite good.
He was
I
really
would
good
say
this year.
he became the oldest player ever averaged 30 points in a season, was also the youngest when he was 21. So on the court, LeBron was great. He'll pass Kareem in scoring next season, but they wasted an opportunity to contend with him, which at this stage in his career is just an absolute. That's the worst thing that could have come out of this season, is wasting a LeBron James season. Now, I think if Anthony Davis were to even play 50 games, they're in the play-in, they're in the back end of the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. But they weren't even close to that, and it was an all-time unmitigated disaster.
So if next year they have all the same personnel but no injuries and same coaching staff, what do you think will happen?
So if that was the case, they end up they're probably playing in the play-in tournament. Probably as one of the higher-seeded play-in tournament teams, so 7 or an 8. Maybe they push up to a 6 territory. With all of that, with Russ still being as bad as he was, I think the rest of the roster construction around them was awful. No defenders, very few shooters. But I do think that if Anthony Davis and LeBron James play enough games together, that gets them in. And I think that's not an unreasonable thing to expect, even with kind of the shit show that happened around them.
I think it would look similar to what happened with Brooklyn late in the season.
I agree. I agree. I think they could make a push with those. I think it's just too much star power, regardless of what's happening around, to get into the back end. We just saw the Timberwolves act like they won an NBA title. Like, you can't tell me the Lakers couldn't hang with that team.
I don't know.
Respect
Pat Bev was pretty
Andrew.
good.
He was pretty good.
God. Pat Beverly.
Pat Bev.
Dude, imagine the Pat Bev Russ showdown in Western Conference Finals.
Western Conference Finals. Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Unheard of.
Say there was potential.
That's the
Unheard of.
That's the issue with that. It's not Minnesota.
No. Who's in the playoffs right now? Who won a game?
Patrick Beverly crying after winning a play-in tournament is an all-time moment.
That's really bad.
It's so funny.
Oh.
Is that a meme yet? 'Cause
Oh,
it should
yeah.
be.
Oh, yeah.
We got, I think, on the post game inside the NBA, they put like the whole celebration to "We Are the Champions," and then Chuck mentioned one shining moment, so somebody online, of course, did that.
Oh, it
Beautiful.
was great. And then they, I saw a picture that it was, StatMuse tweeted.
Yep.
It was D-Wade, Kobe, and Pat Bev, and they're like, these men all have something in common. And Dwayne Wade and Kobe are known for their iconic jump up on the
Yeah.
score table celebrations after titles. And Pat Bev did that last night. It was awesome. He jumped up, his shirt goes flying into the stands. He's crying.
Man of the people.
How does his mom?
Cussing the Clippers out in the locker room. It was electric. It's
All right.
exactly what the play-in tournament should be.
I feel like we should give no more time to the Lakers. It's playoff time. We talk about playoff teams.
Hey, we are where our feet are. Stay in the present.
What?
Yeah, be where your feet are. It's like a common expression.
That didn't make you sound smart.
It's not supposed to. It's supposed to say the Lakers are in the past.
Shut up, Sam.
Okay. All right. Do you want to do award predictions
Not
first?
in the mood. Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
run
let's do
through
that.
them.
Okay. MVP first. Should we do that?
Yeah, I'll start. Giannis. I was pro Jokic at the start, and then I watched Giannis, and I watched Giannis beat up on Embiid, and then I watched Giannis beat up on Durant, and I said I can't think of like a quintessential Jokic moment this year, and then I picked Giannis because he's the best defender in basketball, but he's not my D-boy, and he's also the scariest man to ever go up against besides like.
Besides various other players who are more scary than Giannis.
I thought of
I
10
love
in-
Giannis, but
I thought of 10 in my head, so then I realized that I couldn't say all of them, so I just paused. But no, it's Giannis, because he's just Giannis. He's like the only player in the league where I watch, and I'm like, this guy's just better than I thought he was the last time I watched him.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mike, MVP.
I'm going Giannis too. I mean, I was with you. I think Andrew and I both had the unfortunate position of trying to argue against Jokic at our mid-season. It wasn't a great look for either of us.
It's because I always think I underrate Embiid because I'm a Celtics fan.
Fair enough. I feel like it's so easy to underrate Jokic because you don't see him a lot. You mentioned you don't see him a lot. There aren't those moments with him. But I'm still going Giannis for the reasons you said. He led kind of a turnaround towards the back end of the season, pushed them up. I think they're a 3 seed. But best defensive player in basketball, also averaging 30. I mean, it's hard to go against that.
All right. Lauren, MVP.
I agree. I think that after watching what he did to the Suns in the playoffs last season and realizing that he's still going up from there, dropping 50 in the final game in order to beat them after being behind in the series. And like Sam said, he's beating out some of these all-star great players that have the same kind of height and athleticism. And because he's such a new player, you know that he's going to keep getting better from there.
Yeah. I got Giannis too.
Let's
It-
go.
it's-
I would like to add that I think Lauren just hit the nail on the head in terms of this dude, like, feels like he's been around forever. We're getting into a couple years of his dominance. He's 26, and
We're
he's still getting better.
We're
Like,
in the Giannis era.
yeah, like
We are.
He
more.
also started playing way later than
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he found the game of basketball when other people were playing it for years and years
Mhm.
and years.
Yeah.
And this is how good he is already. Imagine him, I mean, he's kind of in his prime, but, like, imagine when he gets skills and maybe develops a shot.
Every time you see him hit, like, even just a mid-range jumper,
You're like, oh,
oh no,
Terrifying.
oh
Hey.
boy,
that dagger he hit against Brooklyn looked real confident.
that did.
It's one thing to shoot it in desperation. It's another thing to step in and say, no, I'm putting you down
But
right
that's
here.
Yeah.
the other thing. He's willing to learn. He's not like Ben
Yeah.
Simmons. and
Yeah,
just
yes,
scared
oh,
of
yes.
learning.
Ben Simmons.
He
Get
has
on his
nothing to
case.
lose. He's going for it, and I'm sorry, but if you can't do that, then you're not going to keep growing as a player.
No, there was a fantastic Twitter thread right after that game because the dagger he hits, he moves. He's on his right side and he moves to his left and then he hits it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were all these videos of him like his first like 5 or 6 years in the league, where he would move like right to left and not be able to plant his feet and just get traveling calls. And like his shot looked bad, but like that was the thing that he worked on this past offseason.
Working on his footwork.
2 years
Okay.
ago, it was his free throw
The
shooting. He
fundamentals.
was making his pregnant wife run sprints
Oh my.
when
Hey,
he made
yeah.
free throws. No, it's electric.
But Ben Simmons posted a video of him shooting threes in practice.
No, 1-3. It was 1-3.
Of one singular three.
They just put it on loop.
Anything more than that, he'd be too nervous to
Exactly.
Yeah.
have a live tape of him taking 10 threes. I don't think he could do it. How much do you think you'd have to pay him to just put a live clip of him shooting 10 threes in a practice?
Like a live feed, so like
A live
there's
feed.
no
Yeah.
editing.
There's no editing.
Probably a lie.
I don't think there's a number.
There's a good chance he ends up
Sitting out.
tabled with personal issues if that goes poorly.
Oh yeah, right.
Twitter's,
He's injured. His back
Oh.
is hurt.
Twitter's too
His
mean
back
to
is
him.
injured. He can't do it.
All right. Wait, Coach of the Year?
I'll do coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would we not? We'll do coach of the year.
What did you want to do?
We're bouncing around.
Yeah, we're
We'll
bouncing
bounce,
around.
we'll bounce,
Why don't we
we'll
go
bounce.
this way this time?
Okay.
Lauren, Coach of the Year.
I honestly don't know enough about the coaching staffs to give you an answer to that.
Okay.
That's honest, Mike. I respect that.
Yeah.
Same. No, I'm kidding.
Screw you.
To be fair, do I know a lot about NBA coaching staffs? No. But anytime someone like Monty Williams leads a very talented, solid team for sure, like the Suns to a historical season record-wise, I think I said this. I made the same argument at our mid-season award show. I think he's my coach of the year.
I like to judge coach of the year based off do you exceed what was expected of you, and who does that the most, and that's why it's Ime Udoka for me this year. I mean, that team was a 500 team for 2 years. He comes in and all of a sudden it's 51 wins.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, with the best defense and offense in basketball. So,
All right.
what more can you ask for?
Going Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies. Their record without John Morant is really impressive.
Really
now,
impressive.
the large majority of those games are against teams that aren't that good or had guys out. But then at the end of the year, they started beating some really good teams. They beat Brooklyn without. That was one game off the top of my head. They beat Brooklyn without Ja. They were a playing team last year. Squeaked in, I think it's the 8th seed, right? Yeah.
Were they? I think
Yeah.
they might have been.
No, they're the-
Golden State was the 8.
Golden State was.
Oh, so they
no,
started
they
as
beat,
the
no.
9 and they
Well, no,
beat-
I'm saying they
yeah.
got into the playoffs
Yeah.
as the 8th seed, and they jumped to 2 this year. They're just really strong, solid the entire year. Ja goes out 18-2. So, coach of the year right there.
It's very similar to what Phoenix did 2 years ago.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. 6th man of the year. Mike. 6th man of the year.
I want so badly to say Kevin Love because that's my guy. That's my pro comp when I go out and start chucking him around in the Bowdoin gym. But it has to be Tyler Hero. He's put up pretty incredible stats for a 6th man for a very good team in Miami. He's been really one of the catalysts for them offensively. When he's been missing, it's been noticeable. That little stretch they had where they kind of melted down and actually led to that fight with Spo. He was missing from all that, and I think that really impacted the team offensively. So I think you have to give him the 6th man. I think it's a pretty easy one to pick.
Sam?
I would disagree wholeheartedly. I don't think the bubble drop is actually a 6th man.
Shocking.
If I'm being completely
Shocking.
honest.
Did he come off the bench?
Did you call him a bubble guppy?
Yeah, because he was good in the bubble. And then
What do you mean, zoom? He's right back up.
hold up. So, I think they just groomed him all year to be sixth man of the year. They don't play him like
They did
a
the
sixth
OKC
man.
Harden thing.
Exactly.
Sam.
No.
Every sixth man
Uh-huh.
plays big minutes. That's how you win sixth man of the year.
Yeah, but he was just... It wasn't like he was their sixth man. He was clearly like their second man.
Okay.
Maybe their third man. He played every single crunch time minute. Their offense wasn't the same without him. When they gave the ball to Jimmy Butler. But my issue with that is... Actually, we're not going to argue about it. I'm just going to say mine, and we'll move past it. I have Kevin
You have
Love.
a bullshit argument. Sorry.
I have Kevin... Whoa! FCC violation.
I already had one.
Yeah, he already had one like 2 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah.
You gave me the Lakers. I couldn't help it.
What'd you say?
I don't know.
Can't say it again.
Call this
It would be an FCC violation,
Yeah,
Sam.
come on, man.
Anyway, I have Kevin Love. I'm a little biased on this one. I don't like Tyler Hero, and I
No.
really like Kevin Love.
I love Kevin Love.
Listen,
What a guy.
it pains me to do it, but the sixth man award's just who comes off the bench and was the best. And it was Tyler Hero this year. It was.
Yes, it was. You know what he's gonna do?
Win sixth man of the year.
Shoot
probably.
those
First
C's
round exit.
down again.
Yeah.
probably
First round exit.
First round
Probably,
exit.
probably first round.
No, probably second round exit.
Yeah.
Second round exit.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
You have to say it now, too.
Just going off of what you guys have been saying about him, though, I don't. Kind of like you were saying, Sam. If you're that good at the sixth man, but you're contributing that much in like crunch time minutes, then why are you still considered a sixth man?
Unless your team wants you to win the award.
But what do they gain from that at the end of the day?
So the argument would be that Miami's pretty talented in the backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring him off for the first about 2/3 or so of the game. You bring him off as a scoring punch when you're rotating your other guards, and then you're right. You certainly play him in crunch time alongside some of those other guards, but it balances out the offensive flow of the game, which is why that's why OKC did that with Harden so long. They don't really. His skill set is kind of overshadowed when you play him next to Russ and KD because there's two other guys that are going to demand the ball and run offense. So when you work him into the minutes where you may be trying to get those guys breaks or just let the offense flow in a different way, that's how you would
So
play
do you
it.
think that after being such a good sixth man that he's going to be filling into those roles in the future? Do you think that he has the potential in order to become more of a lead role on the team?
Like starter? It depends. There are guys who have made careers out of kind of having this role as a sixth man. It would also depend on their roster construction, right? Depending on what happens with Lowry and Butler going forward.
Mm.
Yeah.
They have a slot to fill, and they need him to step up and play bigger minutes. Yeah, of course he could. I think he's certainly talented enough to start in a lot of NBA teams, but
Yeah.
he is effective in the role. Having a 20-point-per-game scorer who's shooting whatever from the field
Yeah.
is a pretty effective thing to
Yeah.
have in the league right now.
40% from three.
Dang.
It's pretty good.
That is pretty
That's
good.
pretty
pretty
good.
It's like Grant Williams numbers.
Yeah.
Speaking of sixth man of the year.
I was thinking there were going to be some Celtic I never heard of that was going to come up for sixth man of the year.
Yeah, you know Grant
From
Williams.
old Sam.
Batman Williams.
Batman Williams.
You know Batman Williams.
Oh.
You know
But I feel
Batman.
like their lineup had been shifting around for a bit on the
Batman.
Celtics.
Yeah,
It's
they
true.
don't have a real six man.
No, they don't.
candidate.
Derek White's like the closest, but he was only here second half. All right. Speaking of the Celtics,
Speaking of
Defensive
the
Player of the
Celtics.
Year. It's Marcus Smart.
It's Marcus.
It's Marcus Smart.
Marcus.
Marcus Smart. I mean, he's the best defender on the best defensive team in basketball. He can defend any position.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7.
That would be all the positions.
Um,
Thank you for counting them out, though.
He's just the anchor of that defense, and you can tell how much the entire team appreciates it. You can tell how much the entire team realizes he's the best defender on the team and realizes how important he is to their team, unlike a certain Utah Jazz center. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Sam, do you have anything to add on Marcus?
On Marcus?
On Marcus.
I think you covered most of the bases.
Yeah.
He's the best defender on the best team. That's going to be my talking point. But it's not just that. They were the best defensive team by a country mile.
It's true.
You could drive a tank through the gap between them and the other team behind them. You couldn't even tell me who it was. Right? And but actually it might have been Dallas.
I only know it's them because you guys are Celtics.
So think. All right.
Don't
So I
look
think
at me like
since
that.
June 1st,
What?
Since June 1st, the Celtics' defensive rating is like 10 points lower than any other team, which is incredible.
June or January?
January 1st.
Okay.
That's why I said what.
Oh, my bad, guys. But so the first couple months of the season, they weren't great defensively. They were still trying to fit into the new system that Udoka was bringing in with the switch everything defense. And even with that, they finished as the top defense in the league. That's hard to do.
It is.
It's really hard to do.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think Giannis is the best defensive player in the league right now. Like, in terms of I want this guy to get me a stop for one possession, it's Giannis. There's no one else.
Well, he's just got so much more length and height to him.
Yeah.
That's
why
his
big men
reach is-
consistently win the award.
But with Marcus, you watch him and you're just like, okay, he can just smother a team for like 5 straight possessions, and then all of a sudden Tatum's hitting threes, Brown's hitting threes, Pritchard's hitting threes, and you're down 12.
It's the momentum that he ignites.
Hashtag winning plays.
It's like if Pat Bev had talent.
I'm literally just hearing Patrick Beverley when you describe Marcus.
I was really scared we were actually leading to that. Which
You
is
were
why I threw
literally
that
He's
in.
also a much better just technical defensive player.
I'm just saying. I heard Patrick Beverley in that whole argument.
How good
I
are the
so
Timberwolves
badly
defensively?
would like to argue Rudy Gobert because I know how much it would dig at you guys, but I also hate him, and I also think he's overrated. So it's not Rudy Gobert. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Right, so the
So
argument
this isn't a lifetime achievement award.
it's not the Lifetime Achievement Award. Been the best defender in the league. He is the best defender in the league.
Yeah.
And his Lauren, you just mentioned it, his length and size and switchability anchors that Milwaukee defense. And he's got Drew Holiday behind him, but Brook Lopez missed a large part of the season, so we had to pick up a lot of the slack, particularly rim protection area. And then the one thing I would say for Marcus is I don't want to diminish what he did. He did have a great year for sure. But I think Rob Williams had a real strong stake at this award at one point. I think Jason Tatum, you guys have mentioned a lot, has taken a big step forward defensively. Jaylen Brown's no slouch. Al Horford's no slouch. So I would almost argue that if you're going to argue for this turnaround with the Celtics, it's a little bit like arguing someone for MVP when they have another MVP candidate on their team, right? It kind of detracts. So I think Rob almost detracts from Marcus a little bit because he was so critical and had an equally strong or stronger claim to Defensive Player of the Year when he was playing. Now, he gets hurt and they keep it up. That is certainly impressive. But I think Giannis he does have Drew Holiday. I don't want to diminish Drew's defensive capabilities, but I think with some of the injuries they sustained in the front court, his ability to solely anchor that defense and keep them in the elite category and with the ability to potentially defend their title because of the defense, I think that puts up for defense play the board.
I have no issue with that. Like, for me, it's more just like he should win MVP. Now, will he? I don't know. But he should. And so it's like, I don't know. I want to give the Defensive Player of the Year to somebody else.
He would be the first to do both twice, I think, right? Because I know Jordan and Keem each did it.
That
I
might be
don't
true.
think it's been done twice.
Yeah.
That'd be true.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like that's... Oh, do you want to do a quick All-NBA first team?
What about most improved?
Most
And
improved.
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
We'll double up on it.
Okay.
Most improved, I had Ja. Rookie of the Year, I had Evan Mobley.
Same. Exact same.
I generally, I think I have the same for you guys too. I'll give a quick shout out to Jordan Poole. He's going to become a real critical player, arguably the second offense option on a good Golden State team. So I think he deserves some love in this conversation.
Go
I think
Blue.
Rookie of the Year, Cade came on real strong towards the end of the season. I think going forward, he's turned into the piece people expected him to.
Yeah.
But I think the body work from Mobley is too strong to take that award away from him in the last second.
Yep, I agree with you guys.
All right.
Quick shout out Grant Williams for Teammate of the Year.
He was nominated.
He was nominated.
That's Batman Williams to you.
One of 20 people to be nominated.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook, teammate of the year.
Furley, the opposing team.
No, teammate of the year for all the Laker haters throughout the nation. He was standing with you guys. Solidarity.
All right. Okay, let's quickly run through our All-NBA first teams. Sam, first, you're up.
John Morant. Book. As much as it pains me, but he's been great this year. Naturally, the best young wing in the game. Probably the best young talent the game's seen since MJ.
LeBron James.
Jason Tatum. The pride of St. Louis.
I believe you're only eligible for the first team to make the playoffs.
I think that's the rule.
I don't think that's a rule.
And you have to be healthy.
Speaking of
Yeah.
players better than LeBron, Giannis. And I have Jokic rounding it out.
Okay. Mike.
But, hey, one quick thing. If LeBron's team was, like, actually manageable this year, he would probably have Tatum's spot for me.
Okay.
because he was disgusting.
You'll see my objectivity when I exclude LeBron James from my
Oh.
first team.
Well, that's
Oh.
mature.
That's
You
movement.
You guys are right. You got to make the playoffs. Had he squeaked in, I would have had him there. 30 points efficiently, obviously. Whatever. But either way, you guys are going to love my list. So I got Luka and Book. I think Steph certainly had a claim. Josh certainly had a claim. Both got hurt. So
Hold up. I meant to say Luka instead of Joe.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Then I have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. And
Oh, you didn't
Nikola
do the thing.
Jokic.
Oh, you did the thing.
Suck.
Oh.
That's not how basketball is meant to be basketball.
When is Joel Embiid played the 4 this year?
Yeah.
Hey, can I list them at the 4? No, in all seriousness, that reaction was phenomenal. Thank you guys for that. No, I'm with you guys. Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the center is still tough for me. I think I'm going to go Jokic. I think he certainly deserves it, but I mean, Embiid won the scoring title, first center to do that in 23 years, I think. So that's about as razor thin. And if the ballot allows you to vote that way, in terms of pure overall seasons, regardless of positionally, those are
fair.
the guys who deserve to be on it. I agree with you guys. I think those two guys are centers and they're centers.
They have to, going forward, they got to like specify the positions for every player. Make it guard, forward, or center. That's it.
Take their 2K positions.
That's a great idea. Thanks, Mike.
LeBron's a center.
LeBron's a center. Any thoughts, Lauren?
If Steph wasn't injured, I would have him instead of Luka.
That's good.
Otherwise, same all the way down the line with Jokic. I would definitely have Tatum and Giannis as well.
Yeah, it's Luka, Book, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic.
We're pretty in agreement.
We're pretty in agreement. I think, I've done some soul searching since I tried arguing for Joel Embiid over Jokic, which was like the first time I'd ever done that.
Yeah, me too.
I really questioned myself.
I think we realized it almost mid-argument that we may be on the wrong side. I think we pulled up his counting numbers and we're like, whoa.
Yeah, the 14 rebounds for Jokic was something
Yeah.
I was arguing for him, and I didn't realize it.
Watching Jokic play the game is just beautiful. Just beautiful basketball.
Beautiful basketball. Basketball's a
He
beautiful
waddles
game.
around and then just pulls like 30, 15, and 10 out of his ass.
A couple behind-the-back passes.
He's the biggest showman for like a large, plodding Eastern European center you could possibly
He
expect.
legitimately plays like he was all walrus play basketball. That's what it was like.
It kind of reminds me of me talking about Al Horford. I think he looks like the most unathletic man to ever play a sport, but yet he gets it done. He makes shots. His form is atrocious.
It's awful. He has one hand like on
Horford,
top of the ball.
my
yeah.
God.
He literally has one.
Hey,
on
that's
the
my
bottom
birthday,
and one
buddy.
the
Come on
top.
Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, he's shooting like – there was a stretch there. He was shooting almost 40% from the field.
He can shoot.
For 3.
Horford's
Yeah, he
a
can
good
shoot.
shooter for that, whatever you call that shot.
Left it.
Off it. All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll get into playoff predictions. All right, why don't we start off with the Western Conference? We'll pick the first round, then I'll go through our second round, conference finals, and then we'll do the same for the East. All right, first round matchup. Actually, should we just go, everyone, just go through it? Or should we go by matchup?
Let's go matchup because then we can discuss the matchups if we want to. Do you have them up or do you want me to?
I got them up.
Okay.
Suns versus either the Clippers, Pelicans, or Spurs, unless you think any of those teams are beating the Suns.
Suns. I don't know. This needs a lot of
Yeah,
breakdown.
Suns in 5.
Suns in 4.
Clippers might take them 5. Those other two get swept.
I agree.
All right. Grizzlies versus the now championship Minnesota
Hey,
Timberwolves.
a lot of confidence coming out of that.
They
play-in
do.
game.
A lot of
Although
confidence.
They rode the emotional high. They might. Grizzlies in 5. No problem. They take care of them. No problem.
Grizzlies in 7.
Okay,
I think it's
it.
2 young teams. Timberwolves, they have confidence right now. They went 500 against each other in the regular season. I think it's going to be a battle.
I like it.
But I do like the Grizzlies at the end of the day.
I think we'll see what we get out of Anthony Edwards, but he's a player that could be pretty exciting to see get some playoff experience. Hopefully, Cat doesn't. How do I phrase this?
Cat the bed.
Turn into a puddle.
Yeah, there's a good way to put it without
Being mean.
choice words. Yeah.
Overly mean.
No one wants to be mean to Cat.
No.
Yeah, I know.
I got Grizzlies in 6. I can't see Timberwolves
I just
coming
said-
ahead, but I could see them maybe getting 1 or 2 wins out of it, but not more than that.
I'm with you.
Okay. Golden State versus Denver.
Golden State in 6. 7. Golden State in 7.
Okay.
Sorry, I looked at the wrong thing there.
Golden State in 6.
Just to be controversial, I'm going to go Denver in 7.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay. Golden State in 6, I think. Because
Okay.
I don't think Murray or MPJ are going to be back. I think Steph is. And so it's just
If
one
he
team.
wasn't, would that change it for you?
If Steph's not back, Nuggets, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
if-
Or if he comes back and he's compromised. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
That-
what I think. I
that's-
just I
But I
can't
think-
see him
yeah.
coming back to the player that he needs to be and staying healthy for
I mean,
7 games
I think
to the point where he
yeah.
can be as productive as he normally is.
I think he was good to go a week ago, and they just
Yeah, I think they and there's also they also have another whole 3-4 days before they
Yeah.
actually got to play. So
but ankles, you never know. Right?
Yeah.
Especially with
You know
him.
the history
You
of that.
take
Yeah.
one bad step in the first 2 minutes of the first game, the whole entire series is shot.
Yeah.
it's true.
Now the real
I just
question
think you
is,
can't bank on it having a safe ankle throughout the series.
will Jamal Murray come back just as motivated as he once was?
I mean, if he does he come back?
Was that a pun?
No, it wasn't actually, Sam. It was not. Thank you, though.
You're sick. If Murray or MPJ, I don't think they're coming back most likely, but if one were to show up, it certainly makes the series a lot more interesting, especially with the rocky health of Golden State and where they're at. But
It would definitely force them to go deeper.
yeah, I'm going to stick with 6. I think Jokic, I think he's one of those players that'll get you a game or two,
Yeah.
and that'll be that.
All right. Now the big one, the 4-5, Dallas versus Utah. Now I do want to say, Luka Doncic, they're skeptical that he'll play in Game 1.
They are calf strain.
Yeah.
Luka.
All right, Sam.
Dallas in 7.
Luka Legend gets it done, but it does take 7. I think a large part because he misses Game 1 and potentially hampered early in
Yeah.
the series.
I think they're going to get it in 6, and I think he's going to come out and have so much fire under his stomach. It's not stomach, under his butt. That he's just going to come out roaring to go, and that his calf is going to hold up. He just has a grit to him. I don't know.
Yeah. I got Dallas in 7. I agree. Like it's just the injury thing. If he's healthy, I have no question they'd win the series, but that's a huge question mark because without him, if he were to miss the entire series, they'd lose in 4.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah, they get smacked.
Yeah, I mean-
Jazz are a good basketball team. They just have their shortcomings at this time of year.
They're on my list,
true.
but don't bet on them in the playoffs teams.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like we all agree for the first round in the West.
Yeah.
Second
In
round,
general.
That puts
That-
us at Phoenix and Dallas, right?
yeah.
Phoenix in 7. As much as I would be cheering for Luka, and I think that's one of those where I think if they do that series 10 times, Phoenix wins 6 or 7 of them. But I think it goes the distance.
I so badly want to have the just unabashed faith in Luka that Nick Wright has. I love Luka, but I do think he can push it to 7. But I think Phoenix, not only are they an incredibly talented, disciplined, well-balanced team, they're pissed off, and the whole season has been for this. They're here to get
Yeah.
back to that spot. Chris Broussard made this point on First Things First a couple days ago. This team reminds me a lot of that 2014 San Antonio team. They got their hearts ripped out at the end of that series against Miami and were just on a mission. But it was all team basketball. It wasn't kind of focused around one or two guys. It was very well-balanced basketball. Once they got to the playoffs, they were just a machine.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I can't see Phoenix not winning out of 7 games, especially after the past couple seasons that they've had and how close they've become. I think that they're gonna make it past that second round.
Phoenix in 5. Phoenix in
Okay.
5. They have been that good. They've been that good. They don't blow leads. Great defensive team. Mikal Bridges, he's a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's
Yes.
going to win it, but there's a guy right there you can throw on Luka.
I think
So
Draymond has him as his deep boy.
Yeah.
Speaks
Yeah.
volumes.
This would be, were it to happen, potentially Luka's LeBron 07 moment. If he knocks out the Suns team and potentially takes it home to the finals. But
That's
that being said,
I think it's a tall ask,
I'm not picking it
Tall
down.
task.
tall task. Both. All right.
Golden State, Memphis. Golden State in 6. You don't bet against Steph. You don't bet against Mr. Steve Kerr. You don't bet against Clay, especially if it's going to come down to a Game 6. You don't bet against his airness. You don't bet against Jordan Poole. You don't bet against Golden State.
His airness, for those wondering why Sam just had a stroke and thought Michael Jordan was on the Warriors, is his nickname for Andrew Wiggins. Don't ask him about it.
It's Air Wiggins. To
Brutal. I'm going Golden State in 7. I think this could be incredibly tight. This one hinges largely on health, I think. You got very dynamic but very explosive guard in John Morant, who is vulnerable to injuries. But a very balanced, very deep, hungry Memphis team. So I'm praying for health. I think this is an awesome matchup, right? Mm-hmm. We got this in the play-in tournament last year, and it was a great game. Ja and Steph on the court for 7 games would be a blast, and I think they're a well-rounded team enough to hang with Golden State. But ultimately, I think championship experience and medal counts for something, and they get it done in the end.
Well, I had Golden State going out in the first round, and I'm going to say that the Grizzlies can beat the Nuggets in the second round. No particular reasons, I would say.
They're just a better team. I would pick that. That's who I would pick in that matchup too. Were Denver able to get through, I think.
That'd be a really interesting series to watch because the two best players in that series are just complete opposites of one another.
Yeah.
Because I could see Denver coming out really strong in the first series and then just not being able to have that stamina and that personnel in order to keep it going throughout.
Sort of what happened to them last year was they had they were missing Murray and Porter Jr. I think too. They came out. Well, I forgot who they beat in the first round. Portland, and they smoked them. They swept them, I think. They came up and just got buzzed by Phoenix in the next round. And exactly what you're talking about.
Happening.
Yeah.
The Memphis Grizzlies are going to defeat the Golden State Warriors in the second round.
I really do like it. I hope it happens too.
We've seen teams like this. We've seen the Celtics do it, where they're young and they get there. We've seen the Hawks do it. And sure, yes, Golden State, they're a championship team. They have that championship DNA. But there's something off about them right now, I will say. There's the Steph injury. Clay's still coming back. Draymond's really good, but he's nowhere near the same guy he was a few years ago.
And he's been banged up too. And they rely a lot on – and Jordan Poole's played really well, but he has his moments where he takes some questionable shots. Yep. Mm-hmm. They rely on a lot of young guys. And I think Memphis is really, really deep. Really deep. They are.
And they have a guy who, if you came out of that series and said he was the best player on the floor, you would not be surprised.
Yep.
So, that's the guy. Memphis in 6.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Sam?
Nothing.
Little new blood in the...
Little new blood
in the contender picture.
Please don't make a Kuminga joke.
I know.
All right.
I already pushed it with...
Yeah, we know you did.
Yeah, we know you did. All right. Western Conference Finals. Sam.
Golden State defeats the Phoenix Suns in 7 games.
Sticking to it.
Wow. Mike?
Phoenix, I want to say wipes out Golden State, but out of respect to, I think, the makeup of Golden State, they're going to win one on their home floor. So I'm picturing probably a 3-1 scenario for them coming out of the first 4. And I think they can push it to 6, and Phoenix ultimately wipes them out. And it's kind of a funny prediction to make, but it's almost going to be one of those 6-game series where you never really believe the team that pushes it to 6 can win. Sort of like that Lakers-Miami's finals a couple years ago where the Heat won a close game and then had one great performance.
But it took everything.
Everything to get there. I think that's kind of what it is. It'll sap what Clay and Steph have left, and then Phoenix will just roll right to the NBA Finals, and they'll be steamrolling.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
So you got Phoenix, Memphis.
And I'm gonna go with Memphis.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Like it.
I mean, spoiler alert, what I really want to see is Celtics and Suns if I had to choose what I wanted, but I don't know. Something just tells me that
it's their time.
Memphis is going to change it up a bit, and the Suns aren't going to have that chance.
Suns in 6. As I said before, they've been too good and too solid all year. They're not going to get phased in the playoffs. They have the championship DNA. They were just there last year. So Memphis is still young, right? And so, yeah, they can get by Golden State. but I don't think they get by Phoenix.
That's fair. I will say, Lauren, to your point, if there's a team I think that could come in and knock off a team like the Suns, it's a young team that almost doesn't know what they don't know yet. Similar to the way the Bengals this year actually made that run through the Chiefs, right? You'd think the Chiefs with championship medal experience, Bengals hadn't been anywhere close to the conference finals in a long time. And they just had really young, really talented guys who didn't know what they didn't know they're not supposed to be here. To them, this is what they do. This is the expectation.
A little bit of an underdog.
Exactly. A little chip on the shoulder, and they just come roaring into that matchup. And anytime you have a guy like John Morant that give you 50 on any given night, you have a puncher's chance, the way the Sixers always did with
Also,
Iverson.
if it got to that point, that confidence that Memphis team is going to have, saying that, we've got one more series to win against a team that went all the way to the finals in previous year, that you could see them just having that motivation and getting it done.
Yeah.
If you knock off Steph Curry in a playoff series, you're going to be riding high for sure. So that's a really, really good point. Yeah. So that's a big boost for a young team.
All right. So that's the West.
All right.
So let's just, who do we have in the finals at this point? I have Golden State.
Suns.
Memphis.
All right.
I like those.
A little variety.
When's the last time you think 4 people sat in a room and there were 3 different teams going to the finals?
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a while.
It's great that the contender picture is opened up the way it has.
It also makes it so much more interesting when all these games start settling out.
Yeah.
And we're not all on the same page.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to be who's smarter.
It is.
It's
We're going
true.
to have to roll back the tapes.
It's true.
See who won.
All right. Eastern Conference. Miami's the first seed. They're going to be playing either Cleveland or Atlanta. Do you think Miami loses to either of those teams?
I think they beat either of those teams in 5 games.
I'm going to roll with that, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me
in
too.
5.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Hey, who would have thought?
Hey.
Who would have thought? All right. This is the big series of the first round, by far. Celtics
Here we
Nets.
go.
Celtics
Lock in,
Nets.
ladies and gentlemen.
Sam Posman.
I'm going last on this. Let the Celtics fanboys have their fun.
Celtics in
Fangirls.
6.
Celtics in 6?
Celtics in 6. And it is a, we never had a chance.
That's
6.
Saying it
Exact
with
same
his
here. Exact
Saying
same
it
here.
with his chest.
Little flat
Yes,
earth,
sir.
little tiny friggin' little, He goes and does his thing. He goes, I'm Kyrie Irving. I'm going to be stupid. I'm going to step on the logo. And you know what Marcus Smart's going to do to his little face? He's going to deep boy up all in him. He's going to shut him down. He's going to go out there just swinging. Kevin Durant can go for 55 for all I care. Tatum can match that. Brown can match that. Horford can match that. I have no qualms. I've had never more confidence going into a series. Now, I will add, if they lose, I don't know where we go from here. Because we have had literally the perfect year that we've been asking for the last 3 years, and to get bumped in the first round would be detrimental. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a
devastating. It would be absolutely
It
devastating.
would be terrible.
They would be starting from scratch.
But we're not worried about that. Because they're going to wipe the floor with them.
I'm
But
not-
sweep in 6. Like, just...
I'm not worried. Celtics in 6. And it's only 6 because they don't have Robert Williams to start the series. And that's a key part of their team. They're going to have to make some adjustments there.
He'll be back.
Now, do any of you guys know how many points Seth Curry scored in the playing game?
How many?
It'd be a big donut. 0. That's the guy everyone brings up with the Nets.
And
It's
that
like,
is not going to last, syndrome.
but he's banged up too. That's like, I think he's been banged up recently.
That playoff era, though, it's
it's
different.
like,
He's got it in his blood.
listen, the Celtics have guys in Tatum and Brown that can match Durant and Kyrie. Not every game necessarily, but they have a duo that can match those guys. And then if you look at the rest of the rosters, I'm sorry, it's not close. The rest of the Celtics rotation significantly better than the Nets. The Nets, if they win, it'd be in spite of it would be like you'd have to have Kevin Durant drop 50 in all 4 wins. I also don't trust Kyrie in Boston. He has not been the past few times he's played there. He's not been that great. 2 of the last 3 games he's played in Boston. Not good. The crowd gets to him.
They do get to
The
him. They
crowd
throw-
gets to
throw
him.
water bottles at him.
That's uncalled. That was uncalled for. But the crowd gets to him. There's a reason he stomped on the logo at the end of that game. And every time he opens his mouth about the Celtics, like he can't bring himself to say anything nice about them.
Hey, the Celtics don't like him because of his race. It's not because he betrayed the team and divided the locker room.
It's not because at the beginning of the season he said, "I'm re-signing here, guys, as long as you have me back." And then 2 months later, he was talking to Spencer Dinwiddie and Kevin Durant about going to Brooklyn.
There was a time when Celtics fans liked Enes Freedom more than we liked him.
It's true.
And to think about that just puts it in perspective.
There's no more hated current day basketball player than Kyrie Irving for Celtics fans.
This is most definitely true.
Okay. We had our fun.
We had our fun, and we will have our fun from Sunday and beyond.
It's
Hopefully,
true.
we'll have.
Hey, let Lauren have her say her piece.
Wait, who do you think's gonna win the first game though? You think Celtics gonna win the first game?
Yeah. They're coming out rolling.
It's gonna be defensive. Everyone's gonna be scared. It's gonna be the Celtics are gonna win like 98-94. It's gonna be close,
But they're going to win.
but they're gonna win.
Okay.
Lauren?
That's what I'm hoping for too. When I found out who the Celtics were playing in the first round, talking to my friend Mike here, I was not too happy to hear that it was going to be the Nets. I had a feeling it was going to be, but I like to think about not just the personnel, but where these people have been and the types of season and the history that they've had, and seeing that the Nets' new stardom finally joining together for the first time. It's kind of a wild shot, and you don't really know where that can lead. Now, I'm going to say that I've got Celtics in 7, because I think that they could potentially lose 2 or 3 times to the Nets, but I could see them beating them out of the majority of the games. But I could see this one being pretty close.
Okay.
I like it. Most reasonable of the Celtics takes for sure. Sam, before I say anything, golf clap for you, sir.
Thank
I was
you.
very impressed with your take. You said it with your chest. You said your piece.
I didn't call Kyrie Irving any names that would violate FCC laws.
No, you didn't. It was very impressive.
I almost called him the B1.
A bad basketball player?
The look on your face right now is making this really hard for me. But what your takes drove home, particularly yours and Andrew's, but Lauren, I know this for you too. The misery and the depression that will engulf you when Kyrie Irving and potentially, Lord, I'm praying for it, Ben Simmons, end your freaking season in round 1. This dream season, they're first in net rating, they're first in defense. Marcus is depoy. Tatum, the 19-year-old phenom, the second coming.
Only 19.
Not of Jordan, of Jesus Christ. We've never seen anything like it.
Ice cream Jesus.
The baddest man on the planet, offensively, is going to walk into the Garden with his little 6'3" sidekick. He's going to go all Uncle Drew up on you, blank, and I'll give it 7. In 7, Brooklyn sends the Celtics home.
If it gets to 7, that could be something.
If it gets to
Now-
7,
The Celtics will either crumble or...
you are on a court with Kevin Durant.
That's
There is 2 players who I would be I will never say comfortable. I don't even think if you had LeBron at his peak, Jordan at his peak, freaking Kareem or Wilt at their peaks, that you're comfortable playing Kevin Durant in Game 7. He's that caliber of a player. So they have the best player on the court. Anytime you have the best player on the court in an NBA series, you have a good chance to win. When you couple him with one of the most dynamic small guards we've ever seen, you have an even better chance to win. I don't want to disrespect the Celtics, but I do think Brooklyn finds a way to win a couple games early, potentially shake a little bit of this. We'll see what happens with Rob Williams if he comes back. But if he's not right, that takes out your ability to expose Brooklyn's one real weakness and potentially give you some problems.
What is Batman?
What?
Batman's vengeance. He's going to kill Kevin Durant.
Oh, my God. Grant Williams. Is that what you're resorting to, is Grant Williams?
Mhm.
Just,
It's all fun and games till Grant Williams somehow manages to block Kevin Durant.
He got
yeah.
In like the
the
first
two.
quarter
in
of
the
like game
first
2.
quarter, game
Game
2,
two.
it doesn't matter. Kevin Durant scores 50.
Here, like, I don't know. Like, whenever I watch the Nets, it's like, listen, Kevin Durant's a great basketball player. Kyrie Irving's a great basketball player. They are poorly coached. The rest of their roster is not very good.
True.
And listen,
legitimately, I think we've just kind of looked the other way on this. Like, Steve Nash is a bad coach thing.
His only play is to press the Kevin Durant 40 minutes a game.
the only reason
Yeah.
he's there is because Kevin Durant likes him. That's why he
Yeah.
got hired in the first place. It wasn't because of his coaching acumen. The whole thing right after he got hired was Kyrie and Durant were on a podcast, and Kyrie said something along the lines of, "Well, we don't really have a coach. We're all kind of
remember
coaches." And you know what that means? You have no coach, and
At
that
least no
shows.
respect for your coach.
It shows that they don't have a coach. I mean, Cleveland's not the most high-powered offense. I mean, Brooklyn blew the lead against them. couple shots go Cleveland's way. You're talking about Cleveland coming to Boston. And
Yep.
so
Sure.
I totally understand listen, Durant's the best player. Kyrie, you could argue, is even the second best player in the series. I don't think he is. Tatum's better than him.
I agree, but I think he's third.
But again, Celtics have the guys to match, and the Nets just don't have anyone else.
Yeah, and with Durant, I mean, you look at the stuff that he can do, and how much of it is impossible for a player like Tatum to do scoring wise, and that if he drops 50, Tatum can also drop 50 consistently too.
The Nets have a lot of trouble with Jason Tatum.
Andrew, remind me about the time when Tatum went toe-to-toe with Kevin Durant and bested him.
Which time?
Oh,
Game 3 last
But
playoffs,
the thing is,
Sunday.
Can he do it the majority of the games that they're playing against each other? This isn't just
Legitimately, he kind of has.
Don't worry.
But
He won't
in
do
a
it the
row-
majority of the games.
in
He'll
a
go
row.
1, he'll go 2, he'll go 3, and he'll go 4. And then there will be Kevin Durant no more.
So we're going sweep?
Oh, now we're sweeping them.
Oh, yeah.
Celtics in 3.
Oh, my
Celtics in
God.
3.
Celtics in 3.
All right.
I hope Ben Simmons comes back. I know how much you
I
all
think
love
even
him.
if he did, he wouldn't even play
He's
that
doing
much.
1-on-0s right now. He has not
Hey.
played basketball against another human
He's
being.
still shooting 40%.
I would actually like it if he played because I think that would be helping the Celtics more if he was on the floor. That's how much I.
Yeah, because that's
No,
Yeah.
I know how
He would be
you
able-
feel about him. I know how you feel about him.
And it's like, okay,
Not
sure,
just
great.
I feel, I just don't think
He
that
can
he'd
play
be able
defense.
to.
Now, to play defense, you do have to be, like, I don't know, tuned up, let's say. You do have to be going up against NBA-level talent. He's going up against air right now is what he's doing.
You're not wrong.
And
Who
so,
would he defend on the Celtics? I don't think he could defend anybody.
A healthy Ben Simmons, Brooklyn doesn't have any problem with this Nets team.
Not a healthy Ben Simmons. A Ben Simmons
current
after
Ben Simmons?
still not playing against another human.
Hey.
he had one job this year, which was to stay in shape, and he couldn't do it.
Hey, unless you haven't noticed, Grant Williams doesn't exactly get up and down at a rapid pace. But
He's
Grant
on
Williams,
the court. He's
yeah.
on the court.
Hey,
Lauren, you're actually
Batman doesn't kill, but he gets the job done.
Shut up, Sam. Lauren, you're completely right though. Were he to play, the role that they would need him for would be a Tatum or a Brown duty, and he's probably not.
No,
gonna be
and
fit
then
for
it's
that.
like-
If he had
I'm
to
just
play
throwing it
against
into
Yeah.
to the mix because it
I could
adds
throw
to
in Rob Williams coming
because
back.
We would hate it.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
adds to the knife that would be driven through your hearts. Now, I will say this. The day after Kevin Durant delivers a masterpiece in the Garden and the Celtics are done, I'm calling an emergency podcast with the three of you. And all this high horsing about the Lakers, you're going to have to sit here and take medicine for 45 minutes.
This is like feeding
All
the
I'm
whole
gonna say.
Celtic the Celtics championship
I'm going to say.
hype video at the end of it. It's just you talking about this series.
Yeah, they heard me talking right now. They'd probably sweep the Nets, but they're not. They're
Yeah.
not.
All right. Let's finally move on to the next matchup. The Milwaukee Bucks versus the Chicago Bulls.
Bucks in 5. The Bulls are the Baker Mayfield of the NBA. They're pretenders.
I agree. Bucks in 4.
Bucks in 5. I
They're
think that
brooming them.
Bucks in
Bulls could maybe get
4.
Now I
one
love-
win, lucky one, fluke. Somebody
Yeah.
has a bad game, but I don't think there's any way that the Bucks are going to let them win more than one game.
I think there's a chance we might get like a random like Patrick Williams game where Giannis only scores 25 and they like finesse a win with like a DeMar DeRozan like 45-pointer.
They have enough offensive talent to get one. I'm
Yeah.
with Lauren on that, but I'm rolling with my 4.
I like
Yeah,
that 4. That's a
I like
fun
it.
pick.
Yeah,
I
Bucks
like-
in 4.
I like my 4.
I'm rolling with 5.
Bucks in 4.
Maybe you can go
Now,
fo,
sneaky
fo,
thing
fo.
about the Bucks, really quickly.
They're
What's
good at
what's with
basketball.
what's with them ducking the Nets? What's with them
Yeah,
ducking the
That's
Nets?
true. They ducked them.
They ducked them.
They ducked them.
I mean, I can't say that's not a championship.
Well, did they duck them though? Because I think it was more like they wanted the Nets at full strength off a great series win coming to Milwaukee, right? Like
No, they
after they
ducked
dispatched the Celtics,
They
be
they
riding
they
high, they'll
ducked
be
them.
rolling. Giannis be like, all right, good. Like they're ready to go. There's no excuses when I send Kevin Durant home for a second year.
They ducked them.
They ducked
They
them.
ducked them.
Nah.
They ducked them.
Hey,
Because looking at that personnel, they didn't want
Yeah.
want that heat in the first round.
When-
They didn't want to have to deal with it.
If
Winning
we're being
teams
real,
make
who
winning
wanted the
decisions.
Nets in the first round?
No, I mean nobody.
bring on the Nets.
But
Bring
at least
'em
like
on.
that's an underrated part. The
I was
Celtics were like,
shaking
hey,
in my boots when I heard that we got.
Celtics were like, hey, bring on the Nets.
We'll have no problem with the Nets.
We'll have no problem with the Nets. All right. The 4-5 matchup, Philly, Toronto.
All right, I'm getting mine out of the way because I think I know where you guys are going. I'll give you the floor. I'm going Sixers, probably in 6 or 7. I'll roll 6. Harden struggled tremendously, so I wish I could say they firmly have the 2 best players in the series. They potentially don't. We'll see how he responds. That being said, we've talked about Joel Embiid for MVP all year. He just won the scoring title. I think he is too much for the Raptors, and he gets them up out of there.
I feel like the 76ers don't know how to play in the playoffs very well, and I know that has in part to do with Ben Simmons, our really, really great friend, but he's
friend of the show.
there. And yeah, shout out to you, sir. I'm gonna have Toronto in 6.
Okay.
I would want to take Toronto. I do. But Embiid has been too good all year. Now listen, they have disappointed in every single playoff run they've had. Every single one. But, actually, you know what? No. They always go out of round 2 early. Toronto in 7. They have championship DNA. And Matisse Thybulle can't play in Toronto.
I love how he got one of the shots and was like, wait a minute. I don't need the second one. I don't need to get vaccinated.
Andrew, let's do a little Q&A.
Okay.
Who's the best GM that can't win?
Daryl Morey.
Who's the best superstar that can't win?
James Harden.
Who's the best center that can't even meet his playoff expectations?
Joel Embiid.
What coach leads NBA history in 3-1 comebacks happened against him?
One Doc Rivers.
Now you put all these together and we think it's going to work with no depth? You tell me that's going to work? You've got one-shot Thibault out here you're going to rely on. Maxey did your buckets? Toronto, they've got the Ime Udoka switch everything defense. They're all 6'8". They've got no size, but they've got no short. They've got Nick Nurse, future Lakers head coach. Shout out.
Yeah, no.
Thank you for that. Yes, sir.
The process isn't... We thought the process died when Ben Simmons got traded. The process gets burnt to the ground. Toronto in 5.
Hey,
Wow.
yeah,
Blaze of glory. Embiid will go for 50.
You want a quick fun stat?
I love it.
In his career, James Harden has more made free throws than field goals. You know what you get less of in the playoffs?
It's not field goals.
It's not field goals. So, I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. I'm just going to put it out in the ether.
Duly noted.
The ether.
My bracket's going to look prettier than yours after round 1, so that's all right. Go with what you want.
Okay.
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 All right, round 2. Miami versus Philly/Toronto. Mike, since you have Philly, you must really think they're a really good team. Could they beat Miami?
Oh, yeah. God forbid I have them beating a 5 seed in the first round. Oh, they're contenders. No, Miami's going to beat them. I mean, it's going to be, it might go deep. I'll probably pick Miami in 6, potentially 7 if Philly plays well on their home court. I mean, Philly is still a talented team, but Miami, especially if we get some of these playoff letdowns from some of the Sixers stars, potentially has the star power to match them. They have a Bam Adebayo to at least throw at Joel Embiid. Jimmy Butler has proven to be a good playoff performer. Now he gets thrown at James Harden. That's a tough second-round matchup for James. So I do think Miami is a well-balanced, well-coached team, and they'll get Philly up out of there. Like, Sam, you said it, and I love the way you said it, but that isn't working for them. The second round is not the expectation here. So I'm with you guys in them falling short of playoff expectations. I just do think that overall star power gets them over Toronto in the first round, but I do think they probably go out with a relative whimper against Miami in the second round.
Yeah, I got Miami in 6. I don't think that with their personnel that Toronto is going to be able to get more than a couple wins off of them.
No, Toronto, like the argument for Miami losing would be the other team just has top end talent that's better than theirs, and Toronto does not have that.
Yep.
You could argue Philly does, but as we mentioned before, it feels dysfunctional.
But it has to live up to that.
And it has to live. It has to live up to. And even then, like, I mean, Sam even got into they don't have much depth.
No.
So
and that's what Miami's strength is. So.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero, baby.
Miami in 6. I think Spinny Pete can only spin so far.
Miami in 5.
Okay.
All right. So we either here have, what do we have? Celtics.
I'll let you boring
Bucks
Celtics players go first.
Bucks, Celtics, or Bucks Nets. Yeah. Sam.
I hope to hell I'm wrong. I pray that I am wrong, but I think that Milwaukee's going to repeat as champions, and I think that they're going to beat the Celtics in 7.
Objectivity. You gotta
Okay.
love good, strong journalistic standards.
Really hurts. It really hurts.
Lauren?
There's nothing that I would love to see more than the Celtics get a championship. But I just can't see the Bucks losing 4 games against them. I can't see it, and I wish I could, but I'm gonna have Bucks in 6 or 7.
Okay. I have to do it. The second half Celtics, if they play like that, they can beat anybody. Anybody. They typically do match up well with the Bucks. Now, I know they lost to them in the playoffs a couple years ago, Kyrie's last year. Kyrie, just like Kat, turned into an absolute puddle that series. That's what he did. He quit on the team that series. That's why they lost that series. They could have lost regardless, but that's the reason they lost that series. Celtics have guys they can throw at Giannis. Horford historically has done a pretty good job. Tatum can do a good job. Brown can do a good job. Smart can do you just have guys who can keep throwing at him all game.
You're not throwing Marcus Smart or Jalen Brown at Giannis on a good one.
If you get the switch,
we put the Williams brothers on him, he's done and dusted.
if Giannis gets a switch, there's nobody on the Celtics defensively where you're like, okay, they're absolutely screwed every single possession.
Fair enough.
Right? Like the Celtics can hold their own. They do have Rob who can
They have no
protect
defensive
them.
liabilities.
They should have Rob back for that series. And I do here's the thing about the Bucks. As good as they are, you don't look at the Bucks right now and say they're a generational team. Usually they have a generational player.
Yep.
But you don't look at them and say that's just a team like the Warriors or the Bulls or any of the LeBron teams, right? You don't say, okay, that team is here to stay. They're year in, year out, they're a contender. You're like, they have Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. The Celtics would have 2 and 3 in that series, the best players. And you go Middleton, Drew Holiday.
Yep.
I think Tatum, I'm not going to say he's going to outduel Giannis, but any given game he could.
Mm-hmm.
He has already this year.
Celtics won the season series. Or I think it ended up tying, but Tatum didn't play in the last game. So, Celtics in 7. They have home court advantage.
I hope you're right.
If that goes to Game 7, I legitimately will not be able to have fun watching that game.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
me watching LeBron and the Cavs in that game set. It was awful. It was so stressful.
I'm already kind of there for this Brooklyn series, just because I know that the low will be so low.
I might torment you guys during that.
But the high, the high.
Because
high.
I'll know what place you're at because I've been there, so I'll know that any little inkling.
At the end of the day, I don't think there's any team in the Eastern Conference that matches up better with the Milwaukee Bucks than the Boston Celtics.
That
That's
I don't
good.
agree with. That or I agree with. Sorry. If that were to be the matchup, and I picked the Brooklyn series to be close, so if that were to end up being the matchup, I don't disagree with that. I think they match up the best with them. But at the end of the day, I think that the rosters balance out close enough, and that you have, like we said, I think an all-time great player entering his prime, confidence at his peak. Lauren, you've mentioned how he's developed this year even further, coming off a title. Now you go get 2, right?
Yeah.
That's the next step to being one of those players is you go get your second.
I almost want to root for him too because, I
Outside of a
just love that
Celtics series, I'd be
story.
rooting for him.
It's a worthy
I love
opponent
that
to lose to.
story,
You
you
lose to
know?
Yeah.
Giannis, you're like, hard-fought series, better player won, go on and win a title.
But I also think
I think I'd be okay. I'd be living with it.
underrated
I'd be okay
part
with
too is if the Celtics get there after beating Kevin Durant, their confidence is at an all-time high.
All-time high.
All-time high.
Anything is possible.
Well, they're not going to. So, for my more realistic series, I think... So, the thing about this matchup is that the Bucks' strengths coincide with Brooklyn's weaknesses, right? So, they're dominant inside, especially with Giannis, and Brooklyn just doesn't have anybody. That being said, for whatever reason, and I think the reason may be that these are pretty much the 2 consensus players that when they're right, who's the best player on the planet. And I think both of those guys, Katie and Giannis, take that personally. So they're driving to the arena with the mindset of, I make a statement to the basketball world tonight. That being, because of that dynamic, they seem to play each other incredibly tight. Mm-hmm. We got the 7-game series last year when on paper Milwaukee should have wiped them out after the injuries, and Katie just didn't let it happen. And then this year, even when they've played Giannis, we talked about the dagger he hit against them in the regular season. That was a 1-point game. So I think we get 7. I think we probably get a really tight, really competitive, nasty 7 games, similar to last year. But ultimately, I think the Bucks now have the championship medal. They're deeper. Their strengths line up with Brooklyn's weaknesses to a point where when you're in a drag-down, slug-out matchup in Game 7, you can get up in Kevin Durant, you can get up in Kyrie Irving, you can try to disrupt them to a point. Even if you disrupt one of them, I think that's enough. And Giannis, I mean, who puts up 50 in Game 6 of the Finals? Could do that.
Maybe the most dominant performance in a single game I've ever seen.
So I'm putting 40 on him for Game 7 against Brooklyn again because he has the matchup and it's the moment. So I think we're all kind of on the same page. We're at that point where he is that type of playoff performer and caliber player.
And he knows that he can perform at that level.
Yeah.
When it's crunch time. So he knows it. It's just, can he repeat it?
I'm not as high on Phoenix as the rest of you are. I think whoever comes out of this series wins it all. I think
I'm okay with that.
I think any 3 of those teams can actually do it.
Actually, I'm not okay with that. But I understand the point.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect Phoenix. I think they're pretty defiantly.
I would love to see the Celtics beat Phoenix, but I would also love to see the Bucks beat Phoenix in the finals.
Lauren's not a big Phoenix.
No. It's just that I think either a rematch or having the Celtics be in the finals, I would love to watch either of those matchups.
Those are great matchups.
Yeah.
You're not off on that at all.
That'd be really entertaining
It'd
to
be
watch.
really high quality basketball.
It would be.
I've seen some crappy finals recently, like when LeBron took I don't even want to start naming names to the finals. J.R. Smith. But
let's be
Grant
nice.
Hill.
Come on.
Hey, I love J.R.
Hey,
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, no,
But that one moment, you're not having that with those teams. Those are heady, grinded out teams.
All right. Eastern Conference Finals. You 3 all have Miami versus Milwaukee. I just chose the Celtics. So, Celtics, Miami, you guys can go first. 3 of you.
No.
Bucks in 5.
Yeah, Bucks roll them. They're over that hump, and they're leaving them in the dust. They don't even want to think about Miami anymore. They're a bug on the windshield.
And if Miami gets a game, it's because Milwaukee wins the first 3 games by combined 150 points. Rest everyone, and then.
Yeah, I could see them winning in 5 or 6. I just can't see Miami being able to get it done with just knowing what the Bucks have as personnel and also where they've come from in the past couple of years. Just they've grown too much.
Their strength line up, right? Depth, defense, some role player perimeter shooting, except the best player in the Bucks is just head and shoulders above anybody he's going to get in Miami.
No. Yep. If that was the series, Bucks in 5.
Yep.
6 at most, if they have an off night or 2. If it's Celtics, Miami, I would like to think that the Celtics in the past few years, they've been through a lot since that bubble series against Miami. If you remember, that was basically the Bam Adebayo dunk contest. Daniel Tice, God bless him. He was put in a tough spot there. Now he's like the 3rd center. Celtics in 6. They've played too well the entire second. Like, we talk about how dominant Phoenix has been all season. The Celtics were just as dominant, if not more, towards the end of the year. They didn't do it the first couple months, and there's a lot of problems there, but they closed, and they were beating teams by 20 on the road. I think they had a 20-point lead in 19 of their 41 road games. They were dominant the last half of the year, and they lost to Miami recently. No Rob Williams in that game. I think it was their first game without him, so they had to adjust to that. But other than that, they've handled Miami in the regular season the past couple years. Celtics have the 2 best players in that series. Celtics in 6.
Yeah, I think if the Celtics were able to beat the Nets and beat the Bucks.
It goes to what you were saying before. If any of the 3 teams that would get out of that second round series.
If that's how it played out, then yeah, I could see them.
I'm with you guys. I legitimately think the 3 best teams in that conference are all centered in that one bracket. And by the second round, we're going to have our Eastern Conference champ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
NBA
Finals.
Champ and MVP.
All right. So, Sam, what's your finals matchup and who do you think's going to win?
Milwaukee and Golden State. It's my finals matchup. I mean, this is the perfect finals matchup for Milwaukee, right? All of Golden State's best players are where they have their best defenders. I mean, all of Golden State's, when I say good big men, I mean James Wiseman, are not going to be there. Giannis is just...
Don't disrespect Kevon Looney.
It's going to be the Giannis dunk contest. I think Bucks win it in 6. Giannis gets back-to-back Finals MVPs, solidifies himself up there with the names of Hakeem Olajuwon and others.
Okay.
We're at the matchup I'm on the same page with you. I think Drew Holiday wears Steph down over the course of that series.
Yeah.
And the Bucks have no problem taking care of Golden State.
Yeah. You lose to Klay Thompson, you lose to Klay Thompson.
Yeah, but I don't think you can lose to this Klay Thompson.
I don't think so either.
Hate to
Next,
say
maybe
it.
next year. Maybe next year, but we'll see. All right, Mike.
So I have Phoenix and Milwaukee. I know that is boring, but the NBA, once we get to this stage of the playoffs, is typically boring in terms of you kind of know who's going to be there. A lot of times, the same teams from last year, right? We've just gone through. Miami played San Antonio quite a bit. It was kind of LeBron's team would play San Antonio or Golden State for a decade,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of what it was. So I think we do get a rematch. Now, I've been thinking with this pick, Milwaukee all the way. And I'm going to stick with them because I have faith in Giannis. And a little bit, I'll be honest here, because that's what I would like to see. I like Giannis, and I think at this point it would be exciting to see another player jump into this all-time great conversation and category. But that being said, I don't want to diminish anything the Suns have done. And I'm going to hark back to my San Antonio Spurs comparison where they are a better and more well-rounded, deeper team than Milwaukee. Now, they don't have the top-end star power, and I do think the thing that hurts them the most is that Drew Holiday gets CP3 for a whole series again. He really, really wore him down physically. And then Chris Middleton, to the extent that someone can match Booker a little bit or negate the impact he has on the game, he's able to do so, and then that leaves Giannis on 8, and I think that's just a bloodbath again. So I'll roll Bucks in a really nasty 7-game series. It's probably going to take the Bucks overcoming some adversity late in that series for them to push for the title. Because I think Phoenix they're healthy, they're disciplined, they're well coached, they're well led, they're balanced, and they are coming in just with a bullseye on that finals. And if they get the team that took it from them last year, they're going to be all time locked in. And if the Bucks let it slip at all, that they beat this team the previous year, Phoenix would wipe them out. I think Milwaukee wins a tight series, but to the extent that one team jumps on top of the other and it gets ugly, I think Phoenix is the team more likely to do that than Phoenix suffers some early lacks of focus or breakdowns and lets Milwaukee jump on a 3-1 lead or something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Lauren.
I agree with a lot of things that you said. I think that in order for the Suns to actually come out with a win, they would have to find some type of game plan in order to stop Giannis, and I just don't think that Ayton can do it. Seeing how their guard play matches up, I think it's interesting looking at CP3 and Holiday, but again, I really can't see them getting it done for 7 games. I think it's going to be Bucks in 6.
All right. So now if it's your Memphis Grizzlies there against the Bucks, who takes the cake?
Not even close. That's the Bucks.
Yeah. Good call. Roll the Grizzlies as far as you could ride them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be a cool little underdog story if they made it all the way to the finals, but I just don't think that if there was a team that could beat the Bucks, I think the Celtics could do it, and I don't think that the Suns could do it, and I definitely don't think that Memphis could do it.
Fair enough. I think if we get that matchup, that we're likely to get one of those Allen Iverson games where he just goes for 50 and keeps them close, and then the rest of the games are just savagely brutal blowouts, like just merciless from Milwaukee.
All right. Before I go, I do want to quickly point out we had 4 different finals matchups. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
Wow.
That's good.
It shows.
If it's Phoenix Milwaukee, which I think everyone kind of agrees is the most likely scenario, one thing is the Suns' coaching staff, in my opinion, is significantly better than the Bucks. Like Coach Bud was getting fired if they don't go all the way last year.
Kevin Durant wore a normal size shoe for his foot, not an extra size larger. Coach Bud is not the coach of Milwaukee.
Exactly.
Can I
Go ahead.
just jump in here?
Go ahead.
One of my favorite, Fantasyland, I really hope this happens before these 2 guys retire, NBA plot lines, is that Giannis and Luka team up.
That's literally like getting Magic and Kareem again.
Exactly.
Just in modern NBA. That would be unreal.
And I really thought there was a chance because I think it was last year, there was the talk of like because Giannis waited a while to sign the contract extension, and I was like, maybe it's gonna happen, but now if Luka goes out early to the Jazz, we could get a disgruntled superstar. We know he's a diva. He's got a coach fired in the past, right?
Yeah.
You get him. You trade Middleton. You trade Holiday. You have two most beautiful foreign basketball playing menaces of all time, just balling.
That legitimately is a Shaq and Kobe caliber.
Yeah.
I think that would be
Pairing.
so fun to watch.
It would be savage.
That's the modern version of that.
The thing I will say is the way these things usually shake out is Luka's going to sign a supermax. He's going to secure the bag.
Yeah.
So once he hits unrestricted around 27 or 28, Giannis will be mid-30s, early 30s.
33,
Yeah.
32.
So
33.
that's potentially when you could maybe see that happen. But
Luka could also try to force his way out earlier.
they
in
could,
contract,
but I don't
a
think he's
year
gonna
or
need
two.
to. I think he's going to start winning here. I think this year they end up running into Phoenix around earlier than they would have liked to go out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think winning is going to be a problem long term for him.
All right. If it were to be Suns versus the Celtics, it's a tough one.
But is it?
It is.
It's a tough one because I think those two teams are so similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could argue for the Suns being the more balanced team. However, you could argue for the Celtics having the two best players in that series. As good as Devin Booker is, I don't know. He does have an expanded role on that team because Chris Paul is not the type.
I think Chris Paul's the best
dominant.
player on
Yeah.
the team. Yeah.
So I think the Celtics you could argue they have the two best players in the series. Again, their defense has been really good. They beat the Suns this year. Handedly without Jason Tatum. That was right kind of at the beginning of the new year. It was like the first game where you're like, oh, hey, maybe they've turned a corner. And so I'll go 7-game series. The Boston Celtics win it.
Wow. I like it. Sticking to his guns.
I mean,
it's going to make that first round loss so
Yeah, maybe.
much
So
more painful.
when I ask you the question about what do you think in terms of the Celtics kind of blowing it in series throughout, that they can't really can't stick it out.
Absolutely fair. It's absolutely fair. Now, the one thing I'll say is the only time I've ever felt like they blew a series was the bubble against Miami. Like, I don't think – what?
We could get another Tyler Hero Celtics Eastern Conference
could.
Here's the
Finals.
We
thing,
could.
though. Like,
That might
I don't
be
think
even
we blew
more
that
torturous.
series. Like,
Not
Gordon
blew it, but like
Like, that was the one series like, oh, we could have won that one and we didn't.
Hayward was out. Kemba was a
Yeah.
Y'all should have won that series.
doesn't it feel like that happens a lot with the Celtics, that
So-
we thought they were going to have that potential, they turned
But
back
the
corner, and
thing
then
is
it's like
that's
can't
that's
get
true.
it done.
The whole thing with the first half of the season is they'd win a game, and then I'd be like, I'm ready to get hurt again, and maybe I'm ready to get hurt again. I don't know, but
I'm not.
the
be
team
honest.
they have a lot of playoff experience. They have more playoff experience than you would think, considering what Tatum his rookie year got to the Eastern Conference Finals and his third year.
They
Brown
won't
was
have-
there his
they
rookie
won't have
and
to
second
play
year.
their father in the playoffs this year because he's taking a sabbatical.
But that's the thing, right? When they were losing those series to LeBron, it's like they were not like they got there and that was supposed to be their ceiling.
Yeah.
Right, so you didn't come out of that series like, man, we could have won, and maybe that second one against LeBron, they had a chance, but just like from a 1,000-foot view, you're like, okay, that was nice that they were there.
It's not gut wrenching.
The Miami one was gut wrenching because you're like, okay, you think now it's still early for them, but Miami was not the type of team you thought was a championship contender before they took down the Bucks,
Yeah.
right? So it's a totally fair point, but the way they've dominated the league, it's not just that they've gone on a huge winning streak. It's that they've gone on a huge winning streak and dominated playoff team after playoff team. So
And superstar after
Oh my
superstar.
God, I don't think I realized the depth of damage this Nets series is going to cause you guys.
I was
Yeah.
just
I
thinking
knew
about that.
I knew
It's
you
gonna
liked the
it's
Celtics
gonna
Yeah.
make it
and
so
stuff,
much
but
sweeter
man,
the
this
second
is
that you
going to
said that you got Celtics winning the whole
yeah,
game.
be brutal.
yes, I didn't know who I was picking to win the whole thing when I started this.
I might literally dig a grave in the backyard, put a Celtics tombstone on it, and then start dancing on it.
Okay.
If they lose.
I legitimately cannot wait for the Kyrie Irving throws X object on the bench at X teammate. Because that's
Yeah,
going to be fantastic.
For a Game 7-esque
When they go
dagger.
down 3-1 and he puts up a concert date to start like the first half and he's like 2 for 12 or
Watch
something
out
like
for
that.
Kyrie in Game 1, putting up like 7 for 25.
Kyrie's been down 3-1 before. Worked out for him.
No, but
He
the
got
thing is, I
carried.
feel like
So you're saying-
he's
No,
in-
he did not get carried.
He's in
Oh,
a different.
so maybe Coach
he's in
Hammer
a
was
different
right.
mental space.
No, Coach Hammer was not right. Also, this is dropping before Coach Hammer.
What's a Coach Hammer?
Idiot.
Who?
Sorry, Lauren, what were you saying?
That this is a different Kyrie. That I don't think he has the same mental stability in order to lose that many games.
You know what?
And not
Yeah.
throw a complete tantrum.
Oh.
There's no way he's coming back.
Dude, this
3-1.
guy's
There's
been
no way.
Yeah.
He's having a mental break.
Of
he's-
all the points
If
you
they
guys...
Yeah.
lose, if they lose 2 games in a row, the first 2 games, they're done. They're done.
Of all the points you guys have made about the Celtics, that's
Yeah.
the one that scares me the most. Rooting for the
Yeah.
Nets is like Kyrie might just be like,
He's
I'm
not
like really
stable.
into like meditating.
He's like, yeah,
I-
I
I-
took the
I
wrong
don't-
crystal out of my locker.
I
this
don't think
morning.
I need basketball in my life right now. Kyrie, we're down 3-2. The game's tomorrow.
Actually,
Oh, but I need more. I need to center myself.
I think
before
I'm
I'm able to
I think
perform
I'm gonna
my-
go buy a horse, and I'm gonna go off the grid for a bit, and I'm gonna.
Ride my horse in Scotland.
I can't be an artiste under these
Oh.
conditions.
Well, like we could play Kyrie bingo with just the press conferences during the series. One of them would be calling the media members puppets. It's a classic.
All right, hold on.
Underline racism.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Okay.
You're the Lakers.
I'm the Lakers.
Imagine you're the Lakers. I know.
Okay.
Terrible
I can
place
do
to
that.
be. You're going into next season.
Going in the next season.
Anthony Davis is consistently injured. So just
I know where you're going with this.
all right.
This is so not good.
You have Russell Westbrook or Kyrie Irving as your second superstar.
Kyrie Irving.
Who are you putting on the team next to LeBron to make a run?
Kyrie Irving.
You're just saying there's no Anthony Davis, and it's
Yep.
just LeBron and Russ or LeBron and Kyrie.
Dude, LeBron and me is
What?
better than LeBron and Russ. Because at least I know give it to LeBron.
Come on. Boost my LeBron defense more.
Give me Russ. Give me Russ.
Got Sam.
Hey,
That's
who has
better.
more MVPs? Who
Hey,
has more triple doubles?
who has
Who
like,
has more playoff series victories without LeBron James?
Not LeBron James.
Russ.
All right.
I think Grant Williams actually does.
24/7,
That wasn't a bad
365.
one, I got you.
All right,
That was
Sam.
Is
It's
it
time
It's time. It's time, ladies
time.
and gentlemen.
for Sam's send off by Sam. We've been waiting all day for this.
You didn't think of one.
Oh, so this is straight off the dome right here. Unfiltered Sam.
Unfiltered
By
Sam
Sam.
send off by Sam.
Here we go.
Come on, what's
Okay.
going on in the curling world or some other well-known, likable sport?
This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Oh! I know what we'll do.
Okay.
I know what we'll do.
Hey, bring the mic in.
Just don't breathe for a couple minutes.
Come on,
Good.
Sam.
That's good. So the World Cup is this year. And I think America can win it.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I'm right.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the
Yeah.
argument.
So,
We're all Americans here.
Well,
Apparently,
of course.
Lauren's Italian, but
let me
I don't
just...
I mean, aren't we all a little bit?
We're all a little bit
Hey, they
something.
got knocked out, right?
Who?
Italy?
Yeah!
You're American now.
It's okay. I don't really side with that.
It's alright. I think I'm like Polish or something.
That's what I am.
I'm not rolling with Poland. The World Cup, so.
I'm not rolling with the polls.
Give me
All right,
Uncle
yeah,
Sam.
Why is the U.S. winning the World Cup, Sam?
So, we're in a group with Iran, England, ourselves,
Damn Brits.
the winner of Wales, who has Gareth Bale. They're very
Wales is a country.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I don't know. It's like one of the
I'm
things
terrible.
you
I'm
like-
terrible
you
geography.
Like
Wales?
to Britain.
I'm bad at geography, but I knew that one.
good. Wales,
Oh, it's on me, I guess.
Actually,
Wales,
I was just making a
Scot-
joke. I totally knew that one.
Cohen.
My bad.
Wales, Scotland, and the Ukraine. Not the Ukraine. That was the Soviet name. In Ukraine. Ukraine's got a lot going on. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to be honest. Best of luck for their cause.
They have deeper things going on than
They-
soccer.
They've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I would
think-
say so.
Scotland's best players are hurt. Their best remaining player is a man named Scott McTominay. His nickname is Scroat because he's bad.
No, it's not.
It is.
Someone's nickname Scroat. God,
Gotta
soccer.
love soccer.
Gotta love soccer.
And Wales, who's fine. England is a very good team, but they're notoriously bad in the group round. Okay?
It's also England. We're America. Like
Yeah.
this is what we did.
We're 1-0, right?
It's true.
We had 2-0. They said, run it back.
Yeah.
We want our country back. And we said, get your ass back across the pond.
That's fair.
We're having no problem.
No problem.
No problems with
No
it.
problems with the Brits.
No problem.
Been there, done that.
So let's
Yeah.
say we win that group, right? We finagle some wins out of Iran and what's left with the other 3.
Yep.
So next up we play whoever comes in place of Tunisia, Denmark, and France. And the other
France.
plan.
France.
No, France is going to win. We play the second place team.
Oh.
Because
Why-
two come out of every group.
Right.
So France is going to win that group by a country mile.
So then we're gonna play
So,
Denmark.
but you're saying we're kind of coming second in our group.
No, we're going to win our group because England folds against us historically.
Okay.
Ask George
Do we get to like
Washington.
choose who we?
No, we play the second. If you come in first, you play the second.
It's like a seeding thing.
Okay.
You get the
Okay,
worst
yeah,
seed
yeah.
that comes out.
Right?
That's fair.
So then we'll play Denmark.
And meanwhile, England and France are beating up each other in the
Yep.
other bracket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe even a British upset.
Maybe even a British upset.
They've handled France in the past.
They have. They have. Now, and we've seen France. They just consistently roll over whenever they get threatened.
Yep.
Historically, not soccerly.
Okay.
So now here we are. We find ourselves against, who is it? Denmark, Tunisia. We win that because we're Americans. That's what we do.
It is what we do.
We have the baby Jesus. We have Captain America.
We do Steve Rogers in the flesh.
Yeah.
We now proceed what is remaining of England and France.
Not much.
Not much.
Been battering each other's
Yeah.
Battering.
broadsides the whole time.
They've been battered more since that. Let me try again. They've never been more battered than when the Germans did it 100 years ago. They will beat each other to the ground.
Okay.
And here we come in.
Now, how
Off
many
our-
how many teams are left at this point?
Off our high horses. There will be 8 teams left after we beat them. And now here's who's in the other bracket. We got Belgium. They're good. They're good. But hey, I believe there's a great American soccer game roughly 12 years ago against Belgium in which we should have won had a certain Wondolowski not put it over the net from 6 yards out.
Now
And
this is
we're
the thing.
better. And
I'm
now
not a
we're
big
better.
soccer guy. I remember that and being like, "Oh my God, this guy's on the national team." Like,
Well,
you
I
can't
know-
do that.
I know you're just trying to make a point here, but 8 years ago, one play messing it up. I mean,
Exactly. It was bad. That's how bad it
That's
was.
not bad.
Yeah.
So
no,
but
I
here's
mean,
the thing.
how does that have any influence?
It means there's anger.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a
okay.
chip.
It means
Chip
there's
on
a
their
chip.
shoulders.
There's a chip on
Here's
their
the
shoulder.
other thing with Belgium. They've only
Got a
gotten
point.
worse since then.
And they only make moderately good waffles.
Exactly. They're kind of overrated. It
What?
is-
Well, hold on. Whoa,
Waffles
whoa,
to
whoa,
you.
whoa.
Like,
Are you serious?
rewind.
For the point of Americanism,
What's your waffle? What's your go-to waffle? What do you-
Eggo,
American waffle.
Ego?
USA.
point being, we take
That's a
our,
better answer than ego. No
What kind
offense. No disrespect to ego.
What kind of toast
I mean,
do you
no
like?
disrespect.
Do you like French toast or
Burnt.
American toast?
Burnt American toast. All day.
stale.
None of that French
like,
shit.
like a real American.
Here we come. We take our waffles. We best their waffles. Our waffles have syrup. They're too pretentious for that. They say
I don't
we
like
need
syrup.
Well, you don't like peanut butter.
Yeah. Dude,
Go back to the NX,
you
Toby.
should not be. You should not be mean.
So, Belgium will play the winner of, or the second place of South Korea, Uruguay, Portugal, and Ghana. I mean, Ronaldo's very not what he once was. I think Belgium wins. Here we go. We play Belgium. We take them.
Stay careful.
Here we are. We found ourselves in the finals of the World Cup.
Okay.
Just like that.
Yes, we did.
Just like that.
It
Playing
only took about 5 minutes.
Brazil, or Germany, or Spain, or Messi, or yeah. So there's that.
So
We've handled
that's the end of the
murderous
road.
row before. No.
Wait,
Huh?
your argument was that they make it or that they win the whole thing?
Oh, we're gonna find my way of getting us.
We're
to the
winning.
win.
We're winning.
So let's look at this. We got
Have
our.
faith.
Okay.
Let's look at this. Mexico's not gonna make it out. That'd be a rivalry. Spain, we can take Spain. Spain's friendly. They're all very young. Now we're young too, but they're young with no tournament experience.
Okay, that's big.
That's big.
Now,
Brazil?
really quickly.
I worry about Brazil. Yes.
So, I don't know much about soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that the USA men's soccer team
Mm-hmm.
consistently comes up short.
Mm-hmm.
They are very underwhelming.
They are
This is the
very
get over
underwhelming.
the hump
This
year.
is the
But
yeah.
so,
get
but
over the hump
so,
year.
how do they have more tournament experience than Spain, for example?
Well, Spain actually is probably one of the better dynasties of the mid-2010s. Their issue is the vast majority of their players have aged out.
Okay.
Or retired from the national team.
Okay.
Right? So they've got a young kid who's the star at Barcelona named Pedri. Asensio is a fantastic player who will probably do indescribable things to poor Sergino Dest, the American right back.
Naturally.
But we're just going to do a little reality denial for the whole Spain thing just for the sake of argument. Next up, we got Germany. 2-0?
We've beaten Germany
We beat Germany. We beat Germany.
Handedly.
As soon as we get involved,
I
they're
think
wiped
I
off the
would
map.
And where did Germany run off to after we beat them the second time? Argentina, who we will also take handedly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got an Argentinian uncle. Argentina wins.
Nah, Messi's washed.
He scored like 1 goal in the league.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they're not even getting there.
They're not even getting there.
They're not getting there.
So here we are, America versus Brazil in the final. We probably roll over.
Hey, Brazil has precedent of getting absolutely romped in the World Cup.
Hey, but all we have to do is
So
say,
all we
hey,
have to do is just get lucky.
We just got to show up.
Okay.
They're going to
Just gotta
fold.
show up.
They're going to fold. Brazilians.
worst case we say,
Cutting
hey,
down their own rainforest.
your government's a little unstable. A little invasion wouldn't hurt. Wreak some havoc. We've meddled in South America before. It wouldn't stop us twice.
Block some trade for a couple of weeks. Just
Exactly.
make sure those soccer players just aren't quite physically in
I believe
tune.
they're called footballers.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
We'll just say maybe no protein.
I do this in
exports
every
from the
soccer
country.
argument. by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go vegan for about the month of December. We'll see how that goes for you. Silver medal. That's how it goes.
That's how it would go.
Here we are, singing not God Save the Queen, but God Save America, as a gold medal is draped over the glorious, glorious neck of the chosen one of American soccer, the captain of all things capitalism, Christian Pulisic, the baby Jesus in the flesh without a manger, steps into the role of the greatest American athlete of all time, propelling himself above the likes of everyone else. And here we are with the World Cup, and the world will never be the same.
How do you think a soccer player could ever be the best athlete, though? It's like
It's
in
the most global sport.
No, I know, but like physically, like if
Oh,
you have to do a
They can't be.
Yeah.
decathlon.
They're soft.
I would actually argue that Ronaldo might have a case for that, because he runs 6 miles a game and can also like do flips mid-game and score goals, and he's jacked and he's like a 50-inch
That's
bird.
pure athlete.
Yeah, he's got the athleticism.
Ben
but
LeBron
Yeah.
James.
just because he's got
That's fair.
foot-eye coordination,
You could.
like I wouldn't
In a
consider.
few years,
that.
we could be arguing Giannis. We could be.
Could be.
It could be.
Depends
It
what
could
you
be.
consider the best.
It's true.
athlete, You know.
It's true.
Christian Pulisic.
Marcus Smart.
Marcus.
Marcus.
Celtics in 4, Celtics
All right.
in 4,
The
Celtics in
Boston
4.
accents with the
The Marcus and the Horfords.
Horford.
Horford.
Al Wolford.
Sound
What
bunch
do
of
I-
seals.
what do
Marcus,
I need,
Marcus,
2
Marcus.
weeks? 2 weeks until I
It's going to be a bit longer than that,
drag
buddy.
you through the mud in here.
It's gonna be a lot longer than 2
Andrew,
No,
how
we're
many,
looking at about 2 months of just pure torture for you.
how many games are how many days are between games 1, 2, 3, and 4?
8.
You got 8 days.
Actually, I have no idea. That was a complete guess.
Well, you've got
Probably more like
less
10
than
to
8
12.
days. You've got 10 to 12 days.
I'm ready. Got my Ben Simmons jersey in the mail.
That's really sad. I'm really sorry.
That's like, are you okay?
Do you? I
was
thought you
gonna
wanted.
give it to you if they lost.
I thought you wanted a
Figured you'd
basketball.
want it.
I thought you wanted the jersey of a basketball player.
I do. Great basketball player.
Not somebody.
I haven't seen him play in like about a year.
So,
I don't know.
MJ took 2 years off. Dude just got tired, said I'll go play baseball.
Yeah,
MJ's
one guy is
there's
the
precedent.
greatest player of all time. The other guy
Second
passed up
greatest.
an open dunk
Second
to
greatest
pass to
player
the
of all
worst
time.
scorer on his team.
Okay.
Mike, we're not talking about Kareem right now.
No, I'm talking about Michael Jordan, the second best player of all time. LeBron's first, Kareem's third. And I will valiantly argue my point in about a week or so
All right.
against steep competition.
Okay. Might have a special guest on next week.
We will
We
have
will.
a special
We'll have a
guest
special
on it.
guest on next
Not
week.
as special as Lauren.
Not as special as Lauren.
Can't quite live up,
I know.
but a special guest.
A special guest nonetheless. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
It's Coach Hammer.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for
It was an
spoiling my
all-time
fun.
tease right there. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this edition of Courtside. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, a comment, a review. We'd all really appreciate it here at the Courtside family. We'll be back next week. Special guest. I don't want to spoil who it is. See you guys then.
It's Trojan.